Morning, students. Let's continue our chapter number 2, the Vedic civilization. And in the previous video, we went through with the economic life. Then we came to know about Gurukuls, then religious life of the Aryans, right? So in today's video, we are going to do the political life of the Aryans. Okay, so let's start with the political life. The first point is the king. See, in the Rigvedic civilization, a number of joint families made a village. So we need to understand this format. See, joint families made a village. Okay, and what was the name? Gram. Okay, a group of villages formed a clan, means wish, and several clans formed a tribe, means jana. These are the ancient name of this. Okay, tribe, it's a English word, so but in Aryan society they called it jana. So we have to actually remember these names also. Okay, so first of all, let's start again. Joint families made village, one village, and a group of village used to make one clan. Okay, and several clans formed a tribe. So each tribe had a king. Okay, so each tribe had a king. I hope this structure is clear. Now, what was the nature of the king? Characteristics of the king. The king was not despot, nor was he all powerful. Means the king had limited powers, but it doesn't mean that he is powerless. So, not a despot, not a dictator also, and not even all powerful also. It was in a balanced way actually. Okay, not on one sided. Okay, so generally he had to rule according to the wishes of the tribe. What was his duty to do? He had to rule according to the wishes of the tribe. So that's why we said that Nor was a despot and not even all powerful. Okay. So here people would give gifts to the king on the special occasions. People means the tribe people. Okay. And in tribe all villages actually covered. That's why we prefer to say tribe. So they used to give so many gifts also on the special occasions. That is known as Bali. Okay, and later on it became a regular tax and name was shulkas. So now next, this was the role of the king and his duties. Now next point is ministers, advisors and officials. Now these were the helping hands for the king. See, every department was classified in their groups to balance the society. For example, first, Purohita. What is Purohita? Actually, he was he used to advised. Okay, he advised the king in the religious matters. What was his duty, students? What was Purohita's duty? He advised the king in the religious matter. Whatever the religious matter were that time, that was his duty to advise the king. Okay. Regarding moral conduct, regarding religious or spiritual things, he was the one who has to advise. And next was Senani. Senani means it was a head of the army. Okay, Senani means the head of the army. And basically, in the modern language, we can say the commander-in-chief. Okay, so he led the forces in times of war. Whenever there is a war period, he was the one who has to arrange everything regarding the forces. Clear? Then there was a Gramani. What does mean? Village headman. What does it mean? Village headman. Okay, and what was his duty, students? Helped the king in looking after the affairs of a village. So this person had to take care of the village regarding each and everything. Okay, so he was the helping hand for king. So he has to take care all the things regarding everything, every affair, every matter. He has to take care of everything, to balance, to try to make a balance in the society. So these were the classifications actually. Okay, so we can have a map here. See, political structure of Vedic period. First king, this Purohita, he was the main advisor regarding all the religious and spiritual matters. Senani, head of the army, he just handled every sequence of the armies and all. Gramani, he was a village headman. So every village was having a headman actually. So these headmen has to do their duty so they can help the king. So next is Sabha and Samiti. So there were two assemblies. What is Sabha and Samiti, students? See, two assemblies. We call it Sabha and Samiti. So Sabha was a small selected group of elders of the family. Underline this, students. It was a small selected group of elders, okay, of the families, basically royal families, basically noble families. We are talking about the high authority people, okay. So that was Sabha, and the Sabha was in direct and close contact with the king, okay, like royal families, maybe some relatives of the king's side. So these categories we put them in Sabha, okay. So what is Samiti? Samiti, on the other hand, consisted of all people of the tribe. What is Samiti? Consisted of all people, not some particular people, not some specific people. This Samiti, this assembly consisted of all people of the tribe, okay. So anybody could go and put forward his views and give his suggestions. So common people had right to go and give their suggestions, okay. So Sabha and Samiti took up all the important matters relating to Jana. And now what is Jana meaning? We just had earlier, no? We just did it, right? Jana means tribe, and help the king in the affairs of the tribe. So these assemblies had to take care of each and every things which is related to tribe, and this is the way they used to help the king, okay. So next is Vedic literature and science. So during this period, very rich Vedic literature was produced. Okay, for example, see Vedas, Brahmanas, Upanishads. So these books actually give us enough idea. So we came to know why it was very rich in science and literature. Just because of these books, students, we came to know about it, about the science. Now what we came to know regarding the science phase, we came to know regarding the scientific development of the Vedics. So what was the what was the scientific developments of Vedics about mathematics? See, astrology and astronomy. Okay, now see, mathematics was divided into various branches like arithmetic, geometry, algebra. So we came to know they were familiar with these terms, okay. So now see, mathematical calculations, cubes, cube roots, square roots. So they were familiar with these terms. Concept of zero was known to them. Decimal system they was also used, and then astronomy was also developed in this period. See, solar and lunar eclipse, they were aware of these things, okay. The rotation and revolution about the earth, they were knew all these terms. So we came to know that they were very rich in Vedic literature. So next is the later Vedic age. Later Vedic, it's Aryavarta. See, from the Sapta Sindhu region, the Aryans pushed forward and slowly occupied the whole of northern India. Okay, they settled in valleys of rivers Ganga and Yamuna. The period during which they found a new settlements is known as the later Vedic period. Okay, when they found a new settlements, actually we called this period later Vedic period. And what was the time of this period? 1600 BC. That was a time period. Okay, and in this time period later Vedic literature produced. Okay, so they included sutras, for example, then Upavedas, six darshanas, Puranas. So these were the name of the books, and see, namely the Ramayana and Mahabharata. So these Vedic literature was there. So next is the impact of Aryan civilization. The Aryan had left a great impact on the Indian society. Now we are going to discuss regarding the Indian society and culture, what kind of impact they actually left. See, first is Sanskrit language, its grammar, phonetics. Okay, see, these are actually the things which now became an important part of our education. It's a base of our education. Okay, next is the Aryans cleared the forests and gave an agrarian base to Indian economy, which is true. India is an agriculture country, right? Because we got so many information from Aryans. The philosophy of the Vedas, the Upanishads, and the ideal set forth by two epics. What was that two epics? That was Ramayana and Mahabharata. Okay, these are the foundations of the present day Hindu religion and life. Okay, these are the foundations. Now also people still follow Ramayana and Mahabharata's philosophical terms in their life. Okay, the gods of the later Vedic period like Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Rama and Krishna are worshipped till today, which is true. Today also we worshipped these deities. Okay, we know Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Rama, Krishna, and we used to worship them daily. These are the basics of our religion. These are the basics of our today's society. Right? The teachings of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita continue to inspire people with its philosophy of selfless action. Yes, we follow Bhagavad Gita for many things. Okay, these books are just like it's like a knowledge for us. So we can learn so many things, and people used to follow this also. So that's why it had really left a great impact on our Indian society. So later Vedic period with its later Vedic literature, the value system contained had left a great impact on present day. Yes, it is 100% true. It's really had left a great impact. And today's society, today's Indian culture, they really followed these terms as a foundation. Okay, so students, this chapter number 2, it's now completed. I have done with explanation part. Now see, there are some recapitulations. Please go through with recapitulations, and you can go through with this chapter's reading properly. And I hope things are clear. So if there is any kind of doubts, we will discuss in the class. Okay, so thank you very much.